Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Nicolette Hodge. Welcome to We Reflect the Light. Sisters and brothers, the war in the Middle East is intensifying moment by moment, day by day. And we know exactly how this war is going to turn out. We know who's involved in this war. We know how they are aligned with each other. And we know how this war is going to affect the original black man and original black woman who's right here in America, being held captive in the land of our imprisonment. So, sisters and brothers, this is the information that you need to know so that we can unite under our vision of the Abrahamic covenant and get ourselves to safety so that we can exit America, because we have a door out of this, sisters and brothers. So let's get right into the angel, which is Revelations unsealed, which has been unsealed by the breaker of the seven seals, also known as Daniel the prophet, the messenger of the covenant, the Son of Man. So let's go. All right, this is chapter 12 of Revelations. And occurred war in the heaven. The Michael and the angels of him, of the two warred with the dragon. And the dragon warred and the angels of it. And not it proved strong. Not but place was found of them yet in the heaven. And was thrown the dragon the great, the serpent the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. All right, sisters and brothers. This scripture tells us where the war has occurred at, which is heaven. Understand that heaven is the Middle East. So the war in heaven is the war in the Middle East, and that's what we are witnessing. All right, it says, Michael and the angels of him, of the two warred with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it. And not it proved strong, not but place was found of them yet in the heaven. So there's two groups here, Michael and his angels, and the dragon and his angels. So there's two opposing groups that are fighting against each other over in the Middle East. And then, so we're given those the participants. All right, and we'll get into who Michael and his angels are and who the dragon and his angels are. It shares, and was thrown the dragon the great, the serpent the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. All right, the earth is the European nations, the Caucasian nations. Okay, America is part of the earth. America is the earth. Britain as well. And there's others, but I'm going to stick right here with America and Britain. So this scripture is identifying that the dragon and his angels are going to be removed from the Middle East. They're getting removed from that part of the planet. And they will no longer be in the Middle East. They're going to be defeated by Michael and his angels. So this scripture right here tells us how the war is going to turn out. Who's going to win and who's going to lose. So who is the dragon and his angels? The ones that are about to be defeated. Okay, and who is Michael and his angels? The ones that are about to be victorious. That's what we're about to get into. So let's keep moving. Michael, Master Farad Muhammad, he is the God. His angels are Iran and Syria. Iran and Syria and Master Farad Muhammad is our brothers. All right, the Supreme Wisdom Lessons, Master Farad Muhammad refers to us as his uncle and aunt. So that lets you know right there that he's not looking to be worshipped, idolized. All right, however, we give respect where respect is due. Master Farad Muhammad is the God. And his angels are Iran and Syria. Understand that the God and our brothers are fighting on our behalf. They're not against us, sisters and brothers. All right? They're against America, not against the original black man and the original black woman here in America. So understand that we don't need to be fearful about this war. What we do is we study the information from the unsealed scriptures and understand so that we can move on the information that's being given. And we, at that point, we're several steps ahead of these devils. We're in a position to overcome these devils and get to our destination, which is our promised land, Arabia, as outlined in the Abrahamic covenant. So the dragon and his angels is the house of Saud, America, Britain, and false Israel. So that's who's fighting against Michael and his angels. The house of Saud is sitting on our land. They call it Saudi Arabia. Okay? Arabia is not their land. They're sitting on our land pretending that it's theirs. America, Britain, and false Israel are the dragon's angels. So understand that the dragon and his angels will be defeated, and Michael and his angels will be victorious. So with the dragon and his angels being defeated, with America being defeated in this war, and we are right here in America, sisters and brothers, how will that affect us? We're being held captive in the land of our imprisonment. So as long as we are held captive here, whatever happens to America, okay, whatever takes place while we're here, we will also be affected by it. So America is going to be defeated in this war. Britain is going to be defeated. The house of Saud will be defeated. False Israel will be defeated and destroyed in this war. Let's take a moment to zoom in on false Israel. False Israel claims that they are the seed of Abraham. Yet they admit in the scriptures, in the Bible, that they have never been in bondage to any man. Okay? And they also claim that the Abrahamic covenant has been fulfilled. The Abrahamic covenant identifies our land, which is Arabia, the river between the land between the river of Egypt and the river Euphrates is Arabia. False Israel is not in Arabia. They're in Palestine. They're in Jerusalem. So Revelations tells us that those who call themselves Jews are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. False Israel is the synagogue of Satan. So how did they get over there? Let's look at historical events. For one, what is the true description? How do we know who Abraham's seed is? How can we identify the true seed of Abraham? Scriptures tells us that there is a experience that Abraham's seed, not only an experience, horror. We endured horror. We endured the Holocaust. Our father Abram had a vision of horror in which his seed would undergo enslavement and affliction for 400 years in a strange land. We would be sojourning in a land that is not ours, undergoing enslavement and affliction for 400 years. Sojourning means temporary, sisters and brothers. So, we are temporarily here in America, and this land is not ours. We're not from America. We were stolen from our land. We were stolen from a particular area in Africa that we were residing at because we had been kicked out of our land, Arabia, and we were residing in another part of Africa, and we were stolen from where we were residing at, and we were brought over here to America in 1555. So we're not from here. From 1555 to 1619 is 64 years. During that 64-year time period, these devils were preparing us to go into servitude. So it took 64 years to produce a slave. The 400-year time period started with the servitude and the affliction. The servitude and the affliction lasted from 1619 to 2019. It took 64 years to prepare us for servitude. It took 64 years to produce a slave. So from 1619 to 2019, that's 400 years. We served these devils. We worked the fields. We manipulated the earth, manipulated the ground so that we caused it to produce crops so that these devils could have food to eat. So we took care of their agricultural needs. We were in the agricultural era, if you will. So we served them. We built their mansions. We produced their food. We tended to their cattle so that they could have steaks and pork chops and meat. So slavery is maximum profit, minimum overhead. It's a system of capitalism. So we gave them, or they took from us, as much labor as possible. And out of our labor, that's how they received their profit. And they gave us back the very least, just enough to survive. So they gave us all the trash, the parts of the animal that they didn't want to eat, the chitlins, which today they call it chitlins. That's maximum profit, minimum overhead. Taking the least amount out of us, the least amount of labor, which is our energy, which is our calories, and using it for their benefit and giving us just enough to stay alive. Nothing more. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. That does not include the other 99% of our experience. Slavery is just 1% of our experience. Yet that's the only part they talk about, and they don't even speak about that correctly. The other 99% of our experience is affliction. So slavery is not the correct term. The Holocaust is the correct term that identifies our full experience. It was horror from start to finish. How did they maintain that system of capitalism? How did How did they maintain that? How did they conduct themselves towards us? How did they behave? They put us through horror, torture, terror, 24/7, day and night. So this is the vision of horror. The Holocaust that we endured is what Abraham envisioned. He saw that his seed would go through this. And that we would come out with great substance. We would hither, which means return to our land. We will go back to our fathers in peace. Our fathers is not from America. And then the Abrahamic covenant, which is the very next verse after the vision of horror, the Abrahamic covenant clearly states that we will go back. Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The land between those two rivers is Arabia, our promised land. So this is clear truth, clear facts, sisters and brothers. It's no coincidence that the war in the Middle East, the war in heaven, is taking place right now, and our home, our heavenly home. The Supreme Wisdom Lesson says our heavenly home, the best part of the planet Earth that we have preserved for ourselves, Arabia, at the holy city Mecca. There's no coincidence that this war is happening in heaven, which is the Middle East, and our home is in heaven, Arabia. So we are witnessing the purification process happening right before our eyes. The Middle East is being cleaned up of these imposters, devils, abomination. False Israel is an abomination over in the Holy Land, in heaven, pretending to be the true seed of Abraham. So they're over there pretending to be someone that they are not, in a place that they should not be, while abominably destroying the Palestinians. The Hamas uprising was met with abominable cruelty. False Israel is not fighting for a land that belongs to them. They're fighting to stay in power in a land that they have stolen from the inhabitants of that land, which are the Palestinians. So they're fighting to maintain control, fighting to uphold this lie that they have sold to the whole world. False Israel is not the true seed of Abraham. The true seed of Abraham has a very distinct, unmistakable description in the book of Genesis. And the original black man and original black woman are the only ones on the planet that meet that description of being strangers in a land that is not ours, undergoing enslavement and affliction for 400 years. So how did false Israel get over there in the Middle East? When Elijah Muhammad came in the 1930s, he declared that the original black man and original black woman right here in North America are the true seed of Abraham. He showed the proof. All right? So, and how did he show the proof? Strangers in a land that's not ours, undergoing enslavement and affliction for 400 years. We were still in the 400-year time period as he was speaking in the 1930s and showing the proof that we are the true seed of Abraham. The Supreme Wisdom Lessons tells you where our home is. The Supreme Wisdom Lessons clearly tells you that we're not from America. So, America and Britain came together, established false Israel over in the Holy Land in 1948 to counter Elijah Muhammad's claim that we are the true seed of Abraham. So America and Britain gave our identity to false Israel. So false Israel is walking around pretending to be the original man and woman right here in America. They are pretending to be us. They have stolen our identity. And America and Britain is the one that helped them do it. So false Israel got established in the Holy Land in 1948. Scripture says that once we are placed in our land, we'll never be uprooted again. Scripture says that we'll go home in peace. False Israel has not been at peace the whole time they have been in the Holy Land. They haven't had any peace the whole time they have been in Jerusalem. And then with the war in the Middle East, Scriptures tells us, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that her desolation is near. So, right there, we're given information that false Israel will be destroyed. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that her desolation is near. That's not an if, that's not a maybe. That is a definite. False Israel will be destroyed. Okay, and it's identifying a configuration on the angel key when America and Britain lose the war as a result of Michael and his angels, and they are kicked out of the Middle East. America and Britain supply false Israel's military, gives them weapons and money. America and Britain support false Israel 100%. So when that support is moved out the way, America and Britain are kicked out the Middle East, false Israel is left stranded. And with false Israel being left stranded, they will be humiliated. They will be starved to death. They will be destroyed in the same manner that they have been destroying the Palestinians. No mercy. And what they have been doing to the Palestinians, how am I going to say this? When the whole world has witnessed what false Israel has done. The whole world has witnessed and is witnessing right now the works of Satan. Not only the Palestinians, false Israel has blown up schools, murdered hundreds of children, hospitals, homes of women and children. Not only the Palestinians, they have done this to Iran. They're not following any of the rules. They're playing dirty, if you will. This is not a game. However, if you understand that they're cowards, they're not going after, excuse me, sisters and brothers. They don't have any boundaries. They're hitting civilians, women, children. So this is showing, and again, they're not fighting for something that belongs to them. They're fighting to maintain a lie. So we are witnessing the works of Satan. So when false Israel goes under siege, and is destroyed in the same manner that they have been destroying the inhabitants in the Middle East, Palestinians, the Iranians, Syrians, Afghanistan, there will be no sympathy for these devils. It will be understood that their destruction is just. So, sisters and brothers, how is the outcome of the war in the Middle East going to affect us? Because again, we're being held here captive in the land of our imprisonment. We're about to leave. We're about to get out of here. There's a transition period of us actually leaving America. And with America controlling our energy, controlling the electricity, controlling the food, controlling the water, we're affected by whatever happens to the electricity, the food, the water. We're affected by what happens to those resources. When America loses this war, which we're already witnessing the effects of the war in the Middle East, we're already witnessing America's economic system under severe strain, under severe stress, under severe pressure. America's not telling you the truth about how much trouble they're in, because they haven't gotten the resources that they need due to the Strait of Hormuz being closed. This war is having a domino effect already. So they haven't been able, right here in America, farmers right here have not been able to enrich their soil, prepare their soil to plant crops, the food that's needed for the fall and the winter. And of course, America doesn't want you to go into a panic, sisters and brothers. America doesn't want you asking any questions or connecting the dots. They're dealing with us shrewdly. So they're trying to trick us. They're being deceitful. How will the outcome of the war in the Middle East affect us? Once America loses that war, sisters and brothers, they will no longer receive any oil. They need oil. This entire reality, this industrialized economic system is fueled by oil. Now, America claims that they only get a small percentage of oil from the Middle East. Okay. If it's not, and they're trying to present it to us as if it's not a big deal. Okay, well, if it's not a big deal, then why do you even care about the Strait of Hormuz being closed? So that's a red flag right there that they're lying. They say that they only get a small percentage. That don't add up, sisters and brothers. Okay, and then everywhere else that they have taken oil from, that they're currently taking oil from, like Venezuela. Understand that once America is defeated in the Middle East, all it takes is for, explain it this way. When one person stands up to the bully, that bully no longer has power over all the other people they were bullying. Now everyone is standing up to the bully. No one's taking the bully's shit anymore. So everything that America has, they have bullied other nations. They have terrorized. They have stolen, taken what does not belong to them. They have stolen from all of these other nations. So America is going to find themselves in a situation where all these nations are taking back what belongs to them. They have taken the most from the original black man and original black woman right here in America. We were the punching bag for all the other nations. They didn't get hit as hard as we did. However, the devil sets out to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what these devils have done. They've gone all over the planet, stealing, killing, and destroying. Again, we got it the absolute worst. No one has dealt with the Holocaust but the original nation right here in America. No other nation, let me put it this way, no other nation has experienced what we experienced. So all the other oil and resources that they're constantly stealing right now, all that will be cut off as well. And there will be no one to turn to, nowhere to hide. So that economic destruction is going to cause an immediate famine. And the war is causing an economic collapse. Excuse me, sisters and brothers. Right, sisters and brothers, so picking up where I left off, America is not telling you how severe this situation is, how this war is already affecting America's economy. And with this economic destruction, this economic collapse that's about to take place, when America loses the war in the Middle East, these devils are going to make a move on us. A deadly attack on all blacks to annihilate us. Why, sisters and brothers? The original black man and original black woman, we are the true seed of Abraham. America's going to get kicked out the Middle East first, and then false Israel will be destroyed. Remember, because they won't have America backing them, or Britain. They won't have that military backing. Therefore, they're going to be left to go under siege. They're going to be left stranded, and they will be destroyed. However, false Israel, they have stolen our identity. They're claiming that they are us. We are the true seed of Abraham. We have the history. We have the proof. They're claiming to be us. This entire reality is based off the lie that false Israel is the seed of Abraham. False Israel, Satan, is the god of this world. False Israel controls this reality. They control the information that we get from the television. They control the news. They control the education system. They control the money system. They control the entertainment. You think you're looking at sisters and brothers up on the television. They are skin folk. They're not kinfolk. They are devils in black-faced. They're house Negroes, which they came into existence from the affliction that these devils put us through, raping us field Negroes around the clock relentlessly, raping the original black woman, forcing us to give birth to their house Negroes. These devils took on our physical appearance. So, demon, half devil, half man. That's what the product of the rape of the original woman has produced. That's the product, demons. They have our black skin, but they have the devil's blood running through their veins. They're devils in black skin. And the rape was so consistent, so relentless. Understand that we were not allowed to procreate with each other. We were not allowed to have a family. We're not allowed to reproduce with our original man, because Massa was trying to rape our seed out of existence. And if he even suspected that we were pregnant with an original black baby, Massa would torture us and then murder us, murder our babies right in front of us, take our babies and go hunting with them, going to catch alligators, using our babies as bait, because they hate us and they're spiteful towards us. They were told, do not touch the tree. Do not touch that tree. And that's exactly what they did. They touched that tree relentlessly. They sowed their seed in our wombs so that they could produce an entire hybrid nation of devils and black skin that looked just like the original nation. So when you're looking at television, media, black people that are politicians, that's not the original man or original woman you're looking at. You're looking at house Negroes, demons, devils in black skin. And they put the house Negroes over us as role models, overseers, taskmasters, to keep us under control, keep us in check, to keep us under the control of Massa. So the house Negroes have the same agenda, the same mission as their devil fathers. They're part of that shrewd plan. These devils dealing with us deceptively. So they have people before us that look like us, but they are not us. Louis Farrakhan. He's over a black organization called the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan admits that his father is a devil, a rapist, Portuguese Jew that raped Farrakhan's black mother. So he sowed his seed in Farrakhan's mother's womb and forced her to produce his house Negro. His rapist father forced his black mother to give birth to a demon, which is Farrakhan. Okay, but because Farrakhan has black skin, he appeals to the black community. However, you don't understand that there's two groups in the black community, and that the term black is an umbrella that they group all of us together under that term. But the word black does not identify your bloodline. Black does not identify your nature. So these devils are in disguise of black skin so that they can, for several different reasons, so that they can take what belongs to us, our reward, our inheritance. Also to destroy us because they look like us. So therefore, And I'm speaking about us as a whole, sisters and brothers. Therefore, we trust them because they look like us. However, again, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So we have our own land. We have a vision to unite under. Our vision is the Abrahamic covenant. What's Louis Farrakhan telling you? He's telling you that we ain't going nowhere. He says that we're sinful. He prays to Allah that the worms eat our ass. He's saying that the 400 years of enslavement and affliction that we endured, we deserved it. Therefore, there is no reward for it. These house Negroes, these demons are telling us, keep your nose clean, keep your head down, just keep climbing. You know, you're going to make the American dream one day. You're going to achieve it. However, at the end of the day, sisters and brothers, the American dream is not for us. We will never be successful in the American dream because the American dream is tethered to their nature. The American dream is tethered to their devil nature. So we will never be successful in this reality because this reality is not tethered to our nature. It's not for us. And we don't want any parts of the American dream. We understand that it's just an illusion. It's a dream. It's not a vision. We have a vision. We have something tangible. Our own economics, our own land. And we can prove it. So America cannot let false Israel be destroyed before they destroy us. Because remember, America's getting kicked out the Middle East. False Israel's going under siege. False Israel has stolen our identity, but once false Israel is destroyed, it's clear that we are the true seed of Abraham. False Israel is the force that's holding us down. Once that force is removed, we spring right up. America cannot let that happen. On top of the fact that America is going to be right in the middle of its economic destruction. So America will not have any food, water, electricity, no resources that's needed to run the economy. All of that will be gone. So that poses another threat because of that situation. So we're under an economic threat. We're under all kinds of threats, sisters and brothers. We're under an identity threat. They have stolen our identity and they're going to kill us. Their plans is to kill us before the truth comes out of who we are. So we're under all kinds of threats. And when I say we're under an economic threat, let me make that clear. Isn't food part of the economy? If they don't have any food, understand, let me back up a bit. They have us classified as 3/5 human in the U.S. Constitution. So 3/5 human is not human. They have us classified as animals. Animals are meat. Therefore, they have legally classified us as their food source. Because they have us classified as animals, you can eat animals. Animals is meat. So they have us classified as food. So when this famine comes crashing down on America and they don't have any food, they don't have any water, who are they going to turn to? Or who's going to be on the menu? Who is on the menu? So we're in danger, sisters and brothers. We are in danger. These devils are out to save themselves. by any means necessary. And our rise is their demise, it's their destruction. Therefore, they cannot let us rise because they know that that's their destruction. And in their desperate attempt to stay alive and to keep this American dream going, which that's impossible, they're going to try to take as many of us down as they can. So that's why we must understand that our power, our protection, is in the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. One of those pillars is Hajj, harmonic motion, unity, cooperation, under one vision, under our vision of the Abrahamic covenant. These devils will not be successful as long as we do what we're supposed to do, as long as we apply the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. So let's keep moving, sisters and brothers, with these news clips. Excuse me, sisters and brothers.
Ongoing US-Israel and Iran conflict, you must prepare for a severe food shortage. Most people think only oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz, but that is simply not true. This narrow waterway is also an important route for global fertilizer. Reportedly, around 50% of the world's traded urea fertilizer moves directly through the Strait of Hormuz. If this military standoff continues, a global food crisis is inevitable. Urea plays a critical role in food production, and the biggest producers are located around the Persian Gulf, including Iran, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Large shipments from these nations pass through this route daily. If the strait remains disrupted, we face a massive fertilizer crisis. When supply drop, global agriculture is heavily affected. Dependent countries like Pakistan, India, Brazil, and African nations will face major problems. If this route stays blocked, the impact goes beyond Asia. It's triggering higher food prices, lower crop production, and shortage.
All right, sisters and brothers, let's keep moving. All right, sisters and brothers. Global food shortage. There's going to be a global food shortage as a result of the war in the Middle East. It's going to hit America hard. The hardest. Total famine. No food, no water, no electricity, no gas, no transportation. So we're hearing out of the devil's own mouth what they will do to us. Alex Jones admits that he will eat his neighbors. Well, understand that before they start eating each other, they're going to eat us. That's their plan. It's no coincidence that they have us classified as animals till this very day in the U.S. Constitution. Now, they have changed all kind of other laws and made all kind of amendments, what have you. They have not changed that 3/5 human clause. Okay, and these black Democrats, they act like they have our best interests at heart. That's a bunch of BS. Just one very small example I can give is why haven't they fought to change that 3/5 human clause? You know, these Democrats, these black politicians, they don't even think that applies to them. They don't even, however, the thing is, those are some of the ones that are the closest to the devils. They're out in the suburbs. Some of our own people are out in the suburbs. So we know from a scriptural standpoint that the house Negroes, the demons, are the ones that will be eaten during this famine that we're about to come up on, this time period of unprecedented trouble. However, we don't want to get caught up in that, sisters and brothers. So that's why you're getting this information in advance, so that you can be aware of what's about to happen. You can know what's going to happen before it happens, so that you can move out on the scriptures, move out on the information being given, so that you can get to safety. And we can save as many of our people as possible. Now, the scriptures tells us exactly what they're going to be doing. Book of Micah. I said, listen, you leaders of Israel. We're not leading ourselves right now. So this is identifying the devils. They're the ones leading us right now. They're the ones who are holding us captive here in the land of our imprisonment. They're telling us what to do. They're controlling our energy. It shares you're supposed to know right from wrong, but you are the very ones who hate good and love evil. You skin my people alive. You tear the flesh from their bones. You eat my people's flesh, strip off their skin, and break their bones. You chop them up like meat for the cooking pot. Then you beg the Lord for help in times of trouble. Do you really expect him to answer? After all the evil you have done, he won't even look at you. So this is identifying what these devils are about to be doing to us, sisters and brothers. Skinning us alive, tearing the flesh from our bones, eating our flesh. This is what we're up against, sisters and brothers. We are up against talking beast. And these devils will not show any restraint. Let's keep moving. The most tender-hearted man among you will have no compassion for his own brother, his own beloved wife, and his surviving children. He will refuse to share with them the flesh he is devouring, the flesh of one of his own children, because he has nothing else to eat during the siege, and terrible distress that your enemy will inflict on all your towns. The most tender and delicate woman among you, so delicate she would not so much as touch the ground with her foot, will be selfish towards the husband she loves and toward her own son or daughter. She will hide from them the afterbirth and the new baby she has born, so that she herself can secretly eat them. She will have nothing else to eat during the siege, and terrible distress that your enemy will inflict on all your towns. We have to get out of here, sisters and brothers. We have a door out of America's destruction. This famine that's coming, this economic collapse that's coming, it's an economic destruction for these devils. It's a help for us because these devils have us under their hold. They have us intertwined in their economic system because they're getting all of this labor out of us, have us doing all of this work, have us going into jobs every day. However, once this economic system is shut down, destroyed, as a result of Michael and his angels winning the war in the Middle East, cutting off that oil supply, now we can use our energy on bringing the original nation together and getting up out of here. We have an exit door. We have an escape route. This is what these devils are going to be doing to us. This is what they plan to do. And the book of Deuteronomy goes into more details of how this time period will be so intense that the most tender-hearted, most delicate woman that would not even walk around barefoot will secretly give birth to her child and eat the afterbirth and the baby, not sharing it with her husband, children, nothing. So this is this is unprecedented times that we are stepping into, sisters and brothers. The time of unprecedented trouble. We're going to see unprecedented actions. This will be a time period of unprecedented emotions as well. So the scriptures is telling us what's going to happen before it happens. And it's wise for us to take that information and start preparing for this time period. Getting the information that you need so that you can make the right move at the right time, sisters and brothers. Let's keep moving. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. My servants will eat, but you will starve. My servants will drink, but you will be thirsty. My servants will rejoice, but you will be sad and ashamed. My servants will sing for joy, but you will cry in sorrow and despair. Your name will be a curse word among my people, for the sovereign Lord will destroy you and will call his true servants by another name. All who invoke a blessing or take an oath will do so by the God of truth, for I will put aside my anger and forget the evil of earlier days. This scripture is a motivation, sisters and brothers, to let you know that these devils will starve, but we're going to eat. They're going to be thirsty, but we're going to drink. Understand that this famine is not for us. It's part of the destruction of America. Part of their destruction, they have plagues coming. These plagues are to drive us out of the land of our imprisonment, to drive us out of Egypt, which is America. So we're going to eat. However, the point of the matter is you have to get to that safety point so that we can be together, one body, one mighty army, so that we can get through this time period of unprecedented trouble, unharmed, unscathed. It shares not a hair on our head will be harmed. So understand that we have a door out, sisters and brothers. It's only one door out of America's destruction, and that's through the angel. That is our mind. So we have to get our mind back. Our vision. That's our one common vision to unite under. We have a destination. We have somewhere we're going. We have somewhere to be. We have a home to return to, which is Arabia. And our discipline, our force field of protection, the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. So we have, once we apply it, sisters and brothers, as a unit, we have everything we need to successfully overcome these devils and break free, leaving the land of our imprisonment and going home to our promised land, Arabia. So with that, sisters and brothers, that brings this segment to a close, and I will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.